This is Ready Set Reiki, a podcast about Reiki, the universal energy life force. From the curious beginner to the seasoned master teacher, welcoming all systems, all lineages, and all levels. Reiki is a journey and not a destination. And on this Ready Set Reiki journey, we refer to ourselves as guides rather than hosts, as we too are traveling, supporting each other, and learning on this Reiki journey as well. And with that said, I am your guide, Tracy Seawright, and joining me today on my journey is Ronda Hart. Ronda is a spiritual reverend, psychic, medium, tarot, and oracle card reader. She is a certified Holy Fire Reiki Master at Ronda Mystic Solutions. She is passionate about helping people get clarification for the answers they seek. She specializes in cord or attachment removals and healing, and she can marry people and offer home blessings. Welcome to Ready Set Reiki, Ronda.
Thank you so much.
All right, well, we're going to dive right in. So tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
I am a mom of two adult children. I have an autoimmune disorder that I was born with, and that ultimately is what led me down a holistic road. And I had gifted myself Reiki for Christmas one year, and I had one session, and I was blown away. And after that, my friend offered me classes, and I could not miss the opportunity to learn how to do that amazing thing that she had done on me.
All right, wonderful. So would you say that uh, you found Reiki or Reiki found you?
I would say Reiki found me 2018.
2018. And so did you just begin with Reiki level one? How was that part of your journey? What did you continue on your journey with?
Well, I had, let me clarify that I had my Reiki session for Christmas, December of 2017, but then the class was offered to me in January of 2018, and it was level one Holy Fire.
So, as you are out and you've been practicing, you've been receiving Reiki treatments, what is a common misconception about your work?
My work is a little unusual because I actually I'm a paranormal investigator. So all I knew is that if I became a Reiki master, I could help people paranormal wise. And I think there's just a lot of confusion. I'll be completely honest. I didn't even comprehend completely what Reiki was and what it did until I took the first class. So I think people just think it's a lot of mumbo jumbo, but they don't really realize how many aspects that it can help you with.
Right, right. And it's so interesting that many people, when they begin the journey with Reiki, it's just knowing that it's doing the self healing, and that self healing helps you on the journey to go to your true authentic nature. So, your gift is the paranormal. I mean, you have many, many gifts, but that is strengthening your kind of gifts by doing that self healing. So, just because, you're not maybe doing it now per se, but it was a part of your journey that helped you, do exactly what you love. And you're sharing this gift with so many people.
Absolutely. And it has been an amazing journey of self-healing as well. I've had a lot of trauma in my life. Even during my Reiki journey, I've experienced a lot of trauma. I've had a lot of loss, and it's really helped me get through a lot of it. Even if you are at a point where you can't even do Reiki on yourself, because to give you an example, I lost my mom December 2020. And I was so overwhelmed that I couldn't even help somebody else, let alone myself. So I went and received a Reiki session because I knew that that was going to help me with my grief. And it did immensely. So it gave me the ability to heal myself again, heal others. So sometimes even if we can't, we get to a point, it's amazing that we have other practitioners that can help us through our journey.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm so sorry for your loss. I mean,
Thank you.
losing a parent, it's it's something, isn't it? So you can also, if you have a misconception about your paranormal work, Do you have something that you have experienced?
People don't comprehend that the TV shows are for pure entertainment, so, only. There are
Sure.
not a demon on, every time you turn around, there's not a demon there. And also, ghosts don't act on cue. You see a lot of these shows that they'll ask the ghost to do, or spirit to do something, and it just acts on cue. That's not reality. A lot of that is, a lot of the stuff, I'm not saying everything's false on TV, but the majority of it is, they make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, because it's exciting and it looks like thrilling. But honestly, a lot of times that we spend hours in the middle of the night talking to ourselves. It's what it looks like we're talking to ourselves. And it takes us hours upon hours to give you an example, if you do paranormal investigating and you have a 1 hour recording of like stuff that you recorded for the night, it takes you a minimum of 2 hours to review that.
Mm-hmm.
So even though, and I love what I do, but people don't understand that a lot of it, there's a lot of research that goes into it. There's a lot of work. It's not like a haunted house type of thing. I
Right.
think that's what a lot of people get into it, think it's fun. Not that it's not fun, but like people that, the ones that that's why I think there's a difference between a ghost hunter and a paranormal investigator. A paranormal investigator, they're trying to prove evidence. They're trying to find that connection and then see if there's a way that we can help and stuff like that. Where a ghost hunter might take it where it's just fun and games, and they're treating it like it's a haunted house, and like those are two very different people.
Sure, sure. I was actually on the show Dead Files. I
Oh, I
came
love
in
that
to
show. Yeah.
work on it. I was on the episode Smothered. They had come to our town, and and that took months for that. And I've been on a paranormal investigation, and with the spirit boxes and things, and there is quite a difference. So you're absolutely right on that, and how it's kind of geared, because the show, there was one idea with it, and then it completely, by the time it went in production, it was a completely different story. So yeah, it's very interesting. So our next question is, has been the biggest challenge, or rather struggle, you have faced in your healing journey?
I think even with it's with a lot of things, because being even a psychic medium, I can in with Reiki, because when I was doing Reiki, it really enhanced my gifts a lot. And I started receiving all these messages, and I was just like, at first I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, why am I getting this information? They're gonna like think I'm weird, or they're gonna tell me I'm crazy. But then it dawned on me, you know what? Spirit's given this to me for a reason, and I need to tell this person this is a message they're supposed to hear. And they're either going to accept it or not. But I've never had anybody not be receptive to it. But I also don't like, there's one show where a psychic medium walks up to random people and gives them messages. I don't think that that's a fair thing to do, because I think people need to be ready for the message, and they also need to be in agreement that they want to hear the message. And they think that whether they believe my message is authentic or not, I don't care, because I know that it comes from my angels and stuff like that. So I would say that just people thinking that what we do, they think we communicate with devils and demons, and it's just ridiculous. I'm nothing but white light. And so that, to me, like, I wouldn't even consider communicating with a demon, especially since I do home blessings and stuff
Sure, of
like that. I'm
course, of
trying to help
course.
the opposite of that.
Of course, yeah. And that's a big thing also, because there is that misconception that it is darkness, right? That it is something from a demon. I mean, my household growing up, in the church and Episcopalian and an acolyte, my mother was very Bible based, but things would come to me in dreams, and I would hear things and see things and just know things. And, for her, this is not something that, she would necessarily approve of, even with the Reiki. And so, there is that, well, no, this is this and this is that, but that's not how I do it. It's always through the light of God. And it's always with that intention of, I want your highest good because I believe it can come back. So I'm not going to put anything dark out with that, and that you can do these things with that
That,
good intention.
yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly my thought process. I think karma is the mirror. So I
Mm-hmm.
think what we put out reflects back to us. So I'm
Right.
very mindful of my energy.
Right, right. And I'm seeing kind of the little trend here where people will say like Christ-centered Reiki or Christ-centered, so that people kind of put that aside and say, "Oh, okay," and then don't feel guilty. And that Holy Fire, I'm a big fan of the Holy Fire Reiki, and that helps as well with that religious trauma for sure. So if you resonate, it's not religious; it is spiritual, but you can bring that in if that's something that you struggle with in your healing journey for sure. So what is something you wish your younger self knew about your current profession?
I wish I wouldn't have let other people's opinions guide me as much as they don't now. I finally had to and Reiki gave me the courage to do that because it enhanced my gifts so much that it finally gave me the courage to follow my intuition and and go with my instincts and understand that my intuition is directly connected to my highest good, and that people will have you living the life they want you to live instead of the life you're meant to live. I wish I would have did that so many years ago.
Sure, sure. But you know what? The great thing is you're doing it now and you're making a difference in the world. So you're using your gifts. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
So when it is time for you to get that energetic tune up, or when you're seeking a teacher, what are some qualities that you look for in a Reiki practitioner or a Reiki teacher or energy
Uh,
healer?
because I because Reiki is not tied to a religion, I think
Mhm.
it's really important to have a teacher that doesn't try to push their agenda into it and just teach you what Reiki is supposed to be.
Mhm.
And I'm very mindful about that. I teach all belief systems, but
Mhm.
I could teach an atheist because it's
Absolutely.
not tied to a religion. So I am personally very mindful of that. Um, and that matters to me. And I always try, because so anytime, even like when I'm doing Reiki, I try to remember what it's like to be a client. So I always
Mhm.
like put that thought process first. Like, well, how would I want this if I was a client? Or how would I want this if I was a student? So I always try to put myself in their shoes. So that way, I don't want anyone to ever think I'm like at a higher level to them. I always try to meet people at their level.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because everybody's a teacher, so it doesn't matter
Right.
where you are. We're always constantly learning, and I always kind of present it of, maybe a God of your own understanding, and not ever pushing it because it's their own individual spiritual experience with it. So never pushing any religion if they're not feeling comfortable. But exactly, I've had atheists as well in my class, and I don't turn them away, even though I was raised, through a church. So what are you supposed to do? Welcoming to all. So
Right.
that was a teaching of Jesus, right? He was around people that he wasn't among the kings, right, and the royalty. He was around the everyday people. So that's very good. So, what advice would you give someone who is just entering this profession?
That it can help you in so many different aspects. It will help you be a better person. It will help other people be better people because anytime that you're raising the earth's vibration or you're raising a person's vibration, it's always a good thing. And it
Beautiful.
can't do any harm. And that's what I love about it. The most important thing that I love to stress to people, and I think this is one of my favorite things that I learned Reiki from the very from like within the first 10 minutes of my first class is that we were taught that Reiki has nothing to do with your ego. and that you need to check your ego at the door. And I have wrapped that not only in my Reiki business, that we're just a vessel and not, but I do that in my paranormal too. I don't go in there with ego. It's about an authentic connection. But I feel blessed that they gave me the opportunity to have it. I don't have the ego about, well, look what I did, or that was me. I don't have that. No, they could have given that to anybody, but they chose to give that to you. So you have to be humble and not have the ego.
Wonderful. That is true. I think I've heard William speak about how, making friends with the ego, making friends. You don't have to kill it, just make friends with it. Yeah, check it in at the door. So, what books do you recommend?
I will admit that I am a visual and an audio person.
Sure.
So I
There can
don't
be
read a lot of books.
audiobooks.
Yeah, I don't read, honestly, I always refer back to my class books.
Wonderful.
And I really don't have any books outside of that, that I can refer people to. I think because I'm a hands-on type of person, like, so to me, like being around other, Kathy, um, my friend runs a group and we would do these during the pandemic, everything went virtual, right?
Right.
We did virtual share and literally people from around the world. And I actually learned more from that, having Reiki shares that were, or psych, and she did psychic shares where literally people from all over the world, and we would share ideas of how we do things. And you could be any lineage or any type of Reiki.
Hmm.
And I honestly learned more from that, I think, than I would have, not saying I wouldn't have learned from a book, but like from that inner one-on-one connection with people.
Right,
That's what I
right.
really, really like.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I mean, there's some that just need to do and be, and that's
Yeah.
perfectly fine. Wonderful, wonderful. I love it. So, what other modalities do you offer? Do you offer classes,
I
events,
I do
services?
classes. I have a couple different places that I do classes at. I work at Calavera Rose. It's a metaphysical store in Allen Park, Michigan. And I do oracle cards, tarot cards, and I offer Reiki plus Reiki classes there. And I'm also have a really good friend of mine, Brian Danhausen, that owns the Witch's Brew. And I am going to be offering classes there as well.
Wonderful.
I don't just, I may be a guest reader at his shop, but and then I do home blessings. And home blessings is really unique because it can not only help you with paranormal issues that you may have in your home, but it can just get rid of any energy that's not meant to be there. And it can, I have a unique way of getting rid of residual energy. So it kind of gives the house like a brand new energy, a brand new feel. And it's really an amazing feeling because you go in there and it's like the only way to describe it is like you can feel like a bubble popped, like the energy just lifts. And there's nothing better than making somebody feel safe in their own home or their business. It's
Beautiful.
it's one of my favorite things to do. And I used Reiki to do that with.
Wonderful. So, where can we find you if we would like to book a session with you, whether it's Reiki, house blessing, paranormal? How can we get in touch with you?
You can either reach out to me on social media. I'm on everything under Ronda's Mystic Solutions or calveraroseshop.com.
Okay, wonderful. Very good. Well, this ends our one part of our journey together, and I'm going to guide you into the next journey, which is our social media questions. I get questions from our listeners, and I narrow it down to 3 questions. So here we go. Our first question is, as I'm researching Reiki, I notice there's many different systems of Reiki. Can you tell me about Holy Fire Reiki and why it resonates for you?
I honestly can say that it was what was done on me for my first session. And it's not that the other, I think all forms of Reiki help no matter what, but Holy Fire is just the symbol is a higher vibrational symbol. And I'm being empathic and everything's energy to me. And it just resonated with me so much that I couldn't learn it fast enough. And then every time I took a class, it just felt so natural. I knew it was meant for me.
Beautiful. And it's interesting when I teach students, there's that idea that you have to feel something in your hands. And the students are like, I can't feel it working. And again, that's that ego, right? I need to have tingling. And then when you tell them, look, I'm an empath, I feel it everywhere. So I'm not going to feel it in my hands. If you have back pain, I'm going to feel it. If you have grief, my eye starts to tear up. And, I studied Azui, but then I met Holy Fire, so it was the Azui Holy Fire. And that for me, I felt it. It was just the heat. And so, and it was just so life changing in that way. And there's so many wonderful systems out there, and one is not better than the other. They may have the higher frequencies, but you have that option of what's best for the client. Right? What's best for at the time. And you have those tools in the energetic toolbox. But I have to say that, Holy Fire for me, I resonated with that. It worked for me. It clicked. I call it find your Goldilocks, right?
Yeah.
There's enough Reiki out there, these systems, even when Azui Sensei began his journey, there were already 4 systems of Reiki out there, and some believe that Reiki has been out there since the beginning of time. So, yeah, pick what feels right for you. So, number 2, how do I know if I have a spiritual attachment?
You will feel like you're not yourself in more ways than just having a bad day. You could have an infinite amount of really bad luck, and this is beyond like normal, what would be normal. I can tell you, I can physically feel it. Or I can even like walk past somebody and feel and know that they have an attachment. You the constant exhaustion because you have something trying to drain your energy. So you would be extremely exhausted. And you're definitely going to know and be able to feel something is off.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. So number 3, you talked about a little bit about the home blessing, but you can also, if you'd like, continue talking about the blessing or maybe enter about paranormal. But can you provide an example of why someone inquires about a home blessing?
It's been a little ironic that the last 2 cases I've done, um, I always start with what you would consider like a paranormal cleanse where you sage the house and you're trying to push the energy out. The thing of it is though, that was so unique is that neither one of those solved the problem. It did not fix it. It took the extra ability of me, what I do. I can't say for 100% fact that it's my psychic mediumship or if it's the Reiki, but all I can tell you is that I literally did everything I would know how to normally do with what you would call a regular paranormal cleanse, and it didn't phase the energy, and it took my Reiki ability in what I know how to do to get that, to solve the issue, to alleviate the issue, to make the person feel safe in their home. And sometimes the saging works, and I still do Reiki anyways to help with any energy, to give the house like a clean slate for energy and stuff like that. It also could be like if I feel like the homeowner may have an attachment, we're going to deal with the attachment first and then cleanse the house. So that way you're refreshed with your energy and so is your home. You're not going to get that with just like a regular paranormal cleanse.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of things I do that are extra. And then like if I need to do the outside of the home, I can do that as well. It doesn't have to be just the inside. So there's a lot to it. And so a lot of people, so to give an example, if somebody moves into a home, that might be a really easy home blessing. I'm just like fixing the energy and make sure that it's fresh new energy for them. But if it's someplace they've lived and all of a sudden they're having paranormal issues, let's say they brought something in the house and it's got some kind of attachment, you need somebody that really knows what they're doing and how to handle the situation. Because I do I can deal with some pretty scary stuff sometimes, and not a lot of people in Reiki don't do what I do. What I do is very specific, and I'm not afraid of the very scary stuff that happens. And I guess you could say, in a sense, I'm like a firefighter of the paranormal world. When people are running out, I'm one of those people that are running in to help. And but it takes a very unique person, and you have to know what you're doing because you have other people's lives in your hands. And so that's the big difference between, let's say, something like, and I'm not saying not to do like what a priest would do compared to what I would do, because like what I do is just very extensive, and I'm very good at my skill and what I do, and and like I said, it's my favorite thing in the world to do is to help somebody feel safe in their home and their business.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, and that's also, many Reiki practitioners, when they receive their placement or attunement, they feel that it can go up against these things. And
Mhm.
sometimes, that's putting that ego aside and stepping back and saying, let someone else come in, whether what you do or a shaman come in. And definitely with having the holy fire, when you receive your master, you have that ability to do a spirit release. Where you're not only kind of lovingly sending whatever to the third heaven, but you're also helping bring healing to that part that was attached to. So those
Mhm.
are the necessary tools, that you need to kind of go into these situations. And if it's too overwhelming, know to back up. What can I do? How can I help? How can I be of service? Well, give Reiki to that person, give Reiki to the situation, give Reiki to yourself, and then step back and let, who needs to come in to help with that. So very good. So,
I just wanted to add one more thing. The unique thing though, is that if you are dealing with a malevolent being,
mhm,
which is very rare. So I want to stress that it's very rare. I don't want people thinking, just like on TV, they make you think that it's such a very common thing. But if it does happen, the thing of it is, if you go in there scared or have that fear, you just gave it an advantage over you.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that's where my uniqueness comes into play because I go into mama bear mode. Like, I don't like that you're trying to intimidate this family or you're tormenting a child or
Sure.
something like that. I'm there. You're gonna like in my mind, you're already out. I just have to go there and do it.
Yeah.
And not everybody has that ability. So
Yes.
but yeah, I'm so grateful for Holy Fire for helping me with all of this
Yeah.
to lead me to where I have this ability to be able to help people.
Absolutely. And the Holy Fire also that again, there's many systems of Reiki out there, and this is not saying that this is the best one. This might be the right one for you. It's specifically with the authority of love, the light of grace and compassion. So it's coming in and you think fire, oh my goodness, it does damage, but this fire, empowers, it purifies, and it is a loving energy. That's what makes it a little unique and a great thing to have in that energetic toolbox. So that wraps up our third and final question. And is there anything else that you'd like to add as we've been talking? Maybe you have forgotten something or last words you perhaps want to share with our listeners.
No, I appreciate the opportunity to do this. They can book through Calavera Rose Shop. I can do virtual appointments, whether it be for a reading or for Reiki. So it does not have to be in person for any reason if you're not in Allen Park, Michigan. So that's not a problem.
Perfect, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Rhonda, for taking this journey with me. I really appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedule to join me.
Thank you so much.
All right, my wonderful listeners, if you are interested in having your question featured on the show, reach out at www.readysetreiki.com or check me out on social media. And also check out Feather Sister Wellness, where they offer a variety of yoga classes, yoga trainings, Reiki, and Reiki trainings. So this has been Ready Set Reiki. I'm Tracy C. Wright.